Ad Victorium Internet, and welcome back to another adventure of Mr. Jammy B'Stard, member of the Brotherhood of Steel, Hidden Valley, Mojave Wasteland chapter. Now, in our last adventure, after finishing Dead Money, we just finished doing some odd jobs for the Brotherhood of Steel, and now we are full privileged member of the Mojave Wasteland chapter. By that power armor with pride, Jammy. And we've also got our third humanoid companion. This is Raul, and we're just going to talk to him and learn a little bit more about him.
If we run, we might still catch Benny. Well, you might. I'll just be wheezing along behind you.
I have some questions I'd like to ask you.
Questions, boss? You mean you don't know everything there is to know already?
In case you can't tell, Raul is voiced by Danny Trejo. Okay. Yeah. Can you tell me anything about Mr. House?
Just how old do you think I am, boss? Because I can pretty much guarantee I'm older than that. Let me tell you a story from before the Great War. Everybody knew Robert House. He was a genius, a superstar. Founded Robco at 22. Dated Hollywood starlets, the works. They say he saved Las Vegas. I was in Mexico City when the bombs dropped. Even from there, we could see House's defensive rockets shooting down the incoming missiles. Everybody assumed he died in the war. Maybe he did. But his robots are still out there roaming the waste. And now, a Mr. House rules New Vegas.
It is the same, Mr. House. Maybe there's a connection. Can you remember anything else about Robert House?
I remember there were some weird stories about him, especially near the end. There was a tell-all in El Periódico de las Aburridas by a starlet House dated. She said they never, don't make me spell it out, boss. Anyway, she said all he wanted to do was scan her brain and make her dress up in different outfits.
Whatever floats your boat. Okay, let's talk about something else.
Anything to hold your attention, boss.
Tell me about yourself.
Sure, boss. What do you want to know?
So, tell me more about you, Raul. You know, who are you exactly?
You forget about me already, boss? You sure you didn't take a blow to the head or something? My name is Raul Alfonso Tejada.
Then why does your jumpsuit say Miguel?
Probably because it used to be Miguel's.
I want to ask you something else about yourself.
I'm an open book, boss. Granted, the book's in Spanish and some of the pages have fallen out, but I'm an open book.
What's Petro Chico?
You never heard of Petro Chico? Un amigo de Poseidon Energy. Of course not. They were an oil company in Mexico back before the war.
Tell me something else about yourself.
I'm an open book, boss.
How can I make the best use of your skills?
I'm not much use besides being a portable encyclopedia, really. I guess you could use me as a pack Brahmin, but my knees aren't so good anymore.
I don't believe that. You must have some skills.
That's nice of you to say, boss. But I'm an old man. Not much use to anybody anymore. Time was. I was a pretty good shot with a pistol. I guess I'm still half decent. These old bones aren't much use in hand-to-hand fighting, though. I can also do maintenance work on your stuff. I don't have the supplies for a real repair job, but I can keep your gear working longer.
Lots of older people still useful to their friends and communities.
Yeah, maybe you can introduce them to me, if we find them, because I've never met one.
That's all I wanted to know. We'll talk later.
Anything you say, boss.
So that's basically Miguel's mission. You've got to, how should I put this? Make him more confident in himself. And I know just the 3 people to ask. Okay. First stop is Novak. I'm going to talk to a retired NCR Ranger named Andy. Oh. Oh no, this is... Oh, I've never been inside a Cliff's bungalow. Darn it, nobody ever wants the T-Rexes. Okay, okay. Ah, here we go, Ranger Andy.
We haven't met yet. You must be new in town. I'm Andy.
What do you do here, Andy?
Right now, a whole lot of sitting on my keister and counting cracks in the ceiling. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. On better days, I help keep the peace. Boone and Vargas watch the road. I watch the town. Tell myself I'm doing some good.
You're with NCR, right?
Was with them. That was back when my arm and leg used to work better. I still like to pretend I'm a ranger, though. I'll check in with the guys up at the station pretty regular on the ham radio. Sometimes they stop by, tell me they're paying their respects, the smug bastards. They haven't been responding to me last couple days. I guess they got tired of hearing me talk, but it still got me a little worried. Hell, listen to me talk, like some damn mother hen.
Would you feel better if I checked on your NCR friends for you?
No. They're gonna think I'm having trouble letting go. They're good soldiers. I don't give them enough credit.
Tell me about the Rangers.
They're the NCR's finest. A one-man platoon, each of them. You got a job where even thinking about it would scare a man senseless? That's when you bring in the Rangers. And if you see a squad of veterans, guys who are in their black armor, well, you won't find a more beautiful sight.
Did you do something to your leg?
Yeah, twice. Actually, the first time, it was more like half my body. Knocked me out of the Rangers. This time, it's mostly just reminded me how useless I've gotten.
What happened?
A few years back, we get a tip that some Legion slavers were holed up in this burnt-out house a few clicks from where we were stationed. We get there and it's deserted. No sign anyone's been there. I mean, nothing. As we're leaving, I hear something behind me. I turn around and there's this kid, just skin and bone, and he's looking up at us and he's scared half to death. Been hiding in a closet.
What did you do?
I go to grab him out of there and I notice he's holding something in his hand. Something metal. He shuts himself back in the closet and that's when I see the grenade he's left by my feet. They do it a lot, the Legion, using kids. They know we'll hesitate. Anyway, that was the first time. Second time, I fell down those stairs in front of the motel. Just in case I got to thinking I'd put it all behind me.
Your body is injured, not your mind. You're kidding yourself if you think you're useless.
Huh. People don't exactly line up to find out what's in my head. Can't remember the last time someone suggested I knew something worth knowing. You know, maybe there's something I can do for you. Since you've gone to all the trouble of flattering a crippled old soldier, there's a move we have in the Rangers for knocking an opponent off his feet. Saved my butt a bunch of times, maybe it will for you too. Let me show you how it's done.
You've learned the Ranger Takedown special move. To use this technique, initiate a power attack while moving backwards. You'll drop your opponent to the ground. Ah. Okay, a little bit of a hiccup there, but got past it. Okay. Now, Raul should want to talk to us.
Hey, boss. Can I ask you something?
Sure, what's on your mind?
What do you think of guys like Ranger Andy?
He seems like a decent guy.
That wasn't what I meant, really. I mean, guys who have a world of experience doing what they do, but have to give it up because they're getting old and slow or too injured.
Just because someone's crippled doesn't mean they're useless. All that experience is invaluable.
Yeah, I suppose you can still teach. take a less active role in the world. That's not so bad.
Is that what you did?
Would it surprise you to know that I used to be a gunslinging adventurer? I grew up in a place called Hidalgo Ranch, just outside Mexico City. It wasn't much, just a bit of a farm, with a house for 3 generations of Tejadas. I wasn't the best behaved kid. I was quick with my hands, with a pistol or a wrench. And I wasn't afraid to get into fights over it. I never killed anybody, but I had my share of run-ins with the police. Mostly my family kept me in line. This was before the war. We were far enough away from Mexico City when the bombs fell that we missed the worst of it. But things got bad quick.
Go on.
Just a few days after Mexico City was vaporized, refugees started pouring down the road to our ranch. We helped who we could, but there were so many. Eventually, my father started turning people away before we ran out of food. Things got violent. My father and I got our guns, and we drove them off.
What happened then?
About 24 men came back in the night after we'd gone to sleep. They set fire to the ranch house and barred the doors from the outside. My whole family was trapped inside. I smelt the smoke, and I got myself and my little sister Rafaela out through a window. But everyone else, my parents, my grandmother, my 2 brothers, and 2 of my sisters, all died.
What happened then?
Rafaela and I ran. We were pursued by some of the men who attacked our home, but I was always a good shot. The ones who came after us, I killed. The rest, I left be. I had to take care of Rafaela, not throw my life away on revenge.
Okay, you can't think it was your fault. No one could stand against a dozen armed men all alone.
I know that, boss. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just getting sentimental in my old age. Anyways, forget it. Just wanted that off my chest.
He's got a mustache. Never noticed that before. Okay, next stop. Camp Forlorn Hope. Gonna have to talk to the guys in First Recon. Okay, now we just got to figure out where they are. That's the medical tent. I know Lieutenant Gorbetz is in the command tent. Shack? What's in here? No, just a barracks. Out of the way, Eddie. Bit of route. There's Betsy. Maybe the mess hall? Check the mess hall. Mess hall. Now we need to see Corporal Sterling. There's 10 of spades. No. Must be in the command tent then.
Hello.
Out of the way, soldier. Alright, that's the brig. There he is. There's Corporal Sterling. We'll talk to this guy. Raul will open up a little bit more.
Howdy. Name's Sterling, First Recon. Can't say I've seen you before. I'd remember if I had.
You're right. We've never met.
Got a good memory for faces, landmarks and such too. Comes with practice, that's all. And a lot of scouting from place to place.
Have you always been with the First Recon?
Used to be a ranger. One of the first they sent out east back before we took the dam. Observation and reconnaissance. We took the lay of the land, checked out the locals, and kept ourselves inconspicuous. A couple friends of mine were the first to scout the dam. That was back in '73, if I recall. A lot of those rangers are dead now. Vegas always chewed men up. It's just a little more literal nowadays.
Why did you leave the Rangers?
Well, that wasn't really a matter of choice. Got myself caught by legionaries up near Malpay. They had themselves some fun with me. Mangled my hands and feet pretty good. Wasn't much good with the pistol after that. Wasn't gonna be trekking across the waste on any more long scouts either.
How did you manage to escape Malpay?
Caesar's boys figured I wasn't going anywhere after what they'd done to me. So they didn't bother tying me up. I crawled out of there on my elbows and knees. Must have looked a sight. Then I rolled down an embankment into the Colorado. Guess I had a mind to drown rather than give Caesar's boys the satisfaction of killing me. But a couple rangers happened to be watching from across the river. They jumped on in and pulled me out of there. Lucky break, they said.
How long have you been stationed at, well, I can't full on hope he hasn't been here that long. How long were you stationed at, McCarran?
Going on 6 months now, but I reckon we'll be moving out soon enough. Can't talk about the details. Till then, we'll man the towers and keep an eye on the fiends. We've had more than our share of trouble from their direction. Whole thing smells of Caesar to me. Of course, that's just guesswork. But I'd still bet a few caps he's stirring up the locals against us.
Interesting rifle you had there. Is it a lever action?
I call her the Long Carabine. Didn't always have the scope. I added that myself. Been shooting with her so long, couldn't bring myself to toss her away. Would have felt guilty to part with the old girl. The other snipers used bolt action, but Gorbets reckoned it didn't matter none if I was different, so long as I could hit my targets.
Goodbye, Corporal Sterling.
Always a pleasure. Keep yourself safe.
Will do, Corporal.
Got a second to talk, boss?
Sure, what's on your mind?
Meeting Corporal Sterling. Well, it kind of got me thinking. Here's a guy that's been beat all to hell, right? I mean, he could have retired from the service, but instead he signs back on and does what he can. You think he did the right thing?
The NCR put a lot of time and money into his training. He owes it to them to use it however he can.
Even if he can't use it anymore? Isn't that like asking you to come up with one of your brilliant schemes after suffering a crippling head wound? Oh, another one, I mean?
Why do I get the impression this is more personal to you?
I guess it reminds me of my own life. After the fire, I knew my sister and I couldn't stay at Hidalgo Ranch anymore. The refugees still wanted me dead. They even put a bounty on me. I remember how scared Rafaela was. I told her if she came with me, we'd see the vaqueros. She used to love the rodeo, especially the trick rider. We figured maybe we could find help in Mexico City. We were young. We didn't know what had happened, really. We didn't understand about the bombs.
Wasn't Mexico City basically annihilated in the Great War?
I don't think it was as hard hit as D.C. or Bakersfield. But it was bad enough. By the time we got there, the city was a radioactive ruin. Still, the city was full of looters, already forming into the beginnings of raider tribes. Crime was bad before the war, but now it was a nightmare. We were living like scavengers, scraping by on what little food we could find, always looking for medicine for my burns. And then, of course, the radiation started to kick in, turning me into this handsome devil you see before you.
Sounds pretty bad.
You're a poet of understatement, boss. But there were moments it was almost worth it. I still remember finding that novelty costume shop. I was just looking around for something I could slice up to wrap my burns when I saw the vaquero outfit hanging on the rack like it hadn't been touched. I took it, not like anybody else needed it, you know, and wore it back to our camp. Rafaela laughed, for the first time since the bombs had fallen.
Wasn't it dangerous to be dressed so noticeably?
It was. I started to build up a legend. Sometimes it headed off trouble, but most of the times it just started more. Young punks looking to prove themselves would come looking for me, but my eyes were sharp and my guns were quick. For a while, it seemed like we might even survive there, until Rafaela.
Go on, what happened to Rafaela?
She went out to find some food one day. I was sick, so I stayed at our camp. I guess it must have been the beginning of radiation poisoning. Anyway, it was supposed to be safe, but some raiders happened to pass through where she was scavenging. I won't speak of what they did to her. When I found her body, the only way to recognize her was this funny little scar on her knee from when she was a little girl.
Oh, God.
Terrible doesn't begin to cover it, boss. I led my whole family down. First the ranch, now Rafaela. I was the last Tejada. I guess maybe I went a little crazy then. I took my guns and went back to that market. I didn't have many bullets, but I had enough. After the raiders were dead, I salvaged what I could from the store. I was tired. I just wanted to be alone forever.
So what did you do after that?
I left Mexico City behind. I made my way out to the Gulf Coast. Eventually, I found an old Petro Chico refinery nobody had claimed. I stayed there for a little while, and I thought a lot about my life. I thought about the guns I'd lived by and what they'd gotten me. I decided my guns hadn't gotten me anything, and it was time to give it up. I took off the old vaquero outfit and put on a Petro Chico jumpsuit. The name tag said Miguel, so I started using the name myself. Eventually, I made it to Arizona. That's another story, boss.
Okay. Actually, before we go on... Log 1. I haven't unlocked the second log yet. For, Eddie. Okay, last stop. We're gonna go talk to Loyal. Should be around here. There he is.
Isn't that bomber a beauty? Thanks so much for making an old man's dreams come true.
Can I get the code to use the VR pods in a mess hall?
No, those aren't for outsiders to use. Leave them alone.
Okay, I was just curious.
Anything else you need? I've got work to do.
Time for me to go.
Later.
That's a good thing to see, huh, boss?
What are you talking about?
That Loyal guy. He's getting up there in years, but he still finds a way to make himself useful to his people. If you ask me, that's better than withering away all alone or holding on to some faded piece of glory from your past.
Loyal's using his years of knowledge to help his tribe. I think that's a noble goal.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
What's on your mind now, Raul?
Old history, boss. I left everything when I left Mexico. My home, my family, my name, even my face. I know it's surprising, boss, but I wasn't always just handsome. As far as the world knows, I was Miguel, and I was okay with that. I headed north for a while, and ended up in Tucson. Not Tucson, by the way. Things were good there. Well, maybe not good, but better than Mexico City anyways. I found myself a little shack, started fixing things.
Fixing things?
Well, sure, boss. I was always good at fixing things. Some I fixed for the town, some I fixed for other people, some I fixed just for the hell of it. It's a better way to use your hands than killing. And even then, I wasn't getting any younger or faster. I lived there for a long time, kept to myself. Didn't get into any fights. Hell, the only reason I even kept my guns oiled was professional pride.
So why aren't you still there then?
Getting there, boss. I'd been in Tucson. The locals can call it Tucson all they want. But it's Tucson, damn it. About 75 years when she showed up. Prettiest thing you ever saw, boss. Maybe it was just a trick of my senile brain, but I swear she looked just like my Rafaela. Her name was Claudia. She ended up taking work at one of the brothels in town. I never went to her, of course. How could I? But I looked after her in my own way.
What happened with her?
This was a long time ago, before Caesar's Legion pacified Arizona and brought the raider tribes to heel. A tribe came into Tucson one day. More a gang, really. Dirty Dave and his 6 brothers. They were looking for bullets, and I sold some to them. I figured if I did that, they'd leave town before they tore it up too much.
But they didn't, did they?
No, boss. No, they didn't. As I was saying, I hoped they'd leave the town in peace. Instead, they decided to stop at Claudia's brothel to take the edge off. I don't know which one of them got rowdy first, but by the time I heard the screams and got my guns, it was too late. They shot up the brothel, killed 4 girls, and taken Claudia for their sport.
Did you rescue her?
I went after Dave and his brothers. They had a head start, but they slept nights. I didn't. Took me 3 days to catch up to them. Claudia was dead when I got there. They put a bullet in each of her eyes. I couldn't do anything except avenge her, just like Rafaela. I charged into the middle of their camp and started firing. 2 of them were dead before they knew I was there. The other 5, though, they shot the shit out of me. I would have died, I think, if I wasn't so full of rage.
How did you survive?
By being a meaner old cuss than the rest of them, boss. I wanted to keep living until they weren't. So I just kept shooting until they were all dead. I was in pretty bad shape in the end, though. I don't know how long I laid there, with the sun baking me and the buzzards chomping at me. Eventually, I got the strength to start moving. Some long time after that, I managed to drag my carcass back to town.
What happened then?
When I recovered, more or less anyways, I left Tucson and headed west. I ran into Tabitha at Black Mountain, and well, the rest you know. I swore I was done with the gunslinging life. I was too old, too slow, and too beat up to protect anyone anymore. I thought I was done forever, but after traveling with you, I realized I've always had my doubts.
What about?
About whether I'm really too old to keep living the life of a gunslinger after all. And after seeing what you go through, boss, I think I am. From now on, I'll let you deal with the fighting and stick to keeping your gear working. I don't want to slow you down more than I already do.
That's not true, Raul. You're great with a pistol.
You think so? Well, you're the boss. Okay, I'll give it a try. But if I get killed, and if there's an afterlife, I'll haunt your ass.
Raul has gained the Old Vaquero perk, which increases his rate of fire with revolvers and lever-action firearms by 33%. And that's Raul's quest done. Let's talk to Raul again.
You really enjoy dragging me into situations where I get shot at, don't you, boss?
I have some questions I'd like to ask you.
Questions, boss?
What's your opinion of the new California Republic?
They're all right, I suppose. Had a bit of tough going there at the beginning. You know, their first town was nearly wiped out by raiders. Anyway, they got their good points and their bad. Just like a lot of the old governments from before the war.
I had some other questions.
You're a veritable geyser of curiosity, boss.
And what's your opinion of the Legion?
I don't really have a problem with them. People around here tend to see them as invading marauders planning to burn and pillage the countryside. But I've been to Arizona, boss. Before the Legion, it was a nasty place. So thick with raiders you couldn't trade with a town 2 miles up the road. Caesar's laws aren't nice, and their actions aren't always pretty. But then neither am I. But you keep me around.
That's all I wanted to know. We'll talk later.
Anything you say, boss.
Right. Next stop. It's going to be the Brotherhood of Steel safe house. Going to repair my power armor up a little bit more. Just ghost lights again. Okay. Let's get going. There it is, the Brotherhood of Steel safe house.
Evening. What can I do for you?
Why are you here?
I'm here to make sure the bunker stays in one piece. I'm a master at repairing things, so I check in every so often to make sure all the equipment here is in top working condition. If you ever have any gear you need fixed, don't hesitate to ask.
Okay, I'm gonna save. So I don't know whether or not Raul is going to be allowed in the safe house. I'll take the P51D. I'll take that power as well. Ammunition. Actually, the minigun I'm alright with. Fast travel back to Field. No. Raul Shack? No, Field Shack. Then back to New Vegas. Gonna raid my money, my piggy bank. Get some implants. Ready for the next DLC we're gonna cover, which is Old World Blues. Salads. Right, okay. Back to Vegas.
Thank you for visiting New Vegas.
Yeah. Now the thing about the T51D power armor, I think I will. I don't know. I don't know whether or not to wear it into battle at Hoover Dam. So I always wear power armor into like the final battle. T-51D is always good, I suppose. Right, I'm piercing right now. Oh yeah, I've got Annabelle and all that lot. Ammo. Magnum rounds. All those missiles. Okay. You know, there's so... No. No, I'm not gonna piss about.
I'm sure you'll be fair and equitable, boss.
Zero Madre on that. Ah, yes, there we go. Oh, there's the combat armor. There we go. Not gonna flip and piss about with anything. Okay. Now, I think we're past time that we should start thinking about what weapons and what gear we want to take into the final battle. Well, obviously I want to take the All-American and the right shotgun. I'm going to be wearing my power armor. Say 500 rounds of 10mm ammunition. But heavy weapon, close quarters weapon, scoped weapon. Water rifle. Say 25 stim packs. And those 6 repair kits. Okay, so that's my final battle stuff. Okay, let's see. RCW can go in there. Oh, light machine gun. Go in there. Minigun. No, I'll keep the minigun. Hunting rifle. You know what? I'm just going to pause the record here, and I'll be back with you guys when I finish pissing about with my guns. Okay, we're back. Finally got the weapons all sorted out. But hey, Veronica. Okay, now nearly 26 grand's worth of caps, and that's not including the gold bars we've got. Okay, down to the casino floor. Skills. Strength and perception. Want to add another point to intelligence, because we can add 6. We added 1 to endurance, so that's 5 left. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Actually, we'll add. No, we can't add 2 to intelligence. Just 1. should have enough for one of the subdermal implants as well.
Morning.
You're back. Do you need medical attention?
I'd like to buy an implant.
All right. Let me do a quick test to make sure your body can handle another implant. All right. You're healthy enough to handle another one. Which surgery are you considering?
I'd like to have greater strength.
I can implant the hypertrophy accelerator for 4,000 caps. It will boost your adrenal glands and quickly increase your muscle mass.
Here's the caps.
Have a seat in the auto dock. This will take a few hours.
Got +1 strength. Okay.
You're back. All right. Let me do a quick test.
This is implant number 3. Make me more perceptive.
The optics enhancer, as the name suggests, gets attached directly to your optic nerve. The price is 4,000 caps.
Here's the caps.
Have a seat in the auto dock. This will take a few hours.
Okay, it should be the last one I get for today. Doing this all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Five? Actually, no. Let's go with more agility. So, 1, 2, 3. This is implant.
You're back. Do you need medical?
This is implant number 4.
All right. All right.
I want to be more intelligent.
For 4,000 caps, I can install a logic coprocessor.
Here's the caps.
Have a seat in the auto dock. This will take a few hours.
Got intelligence 7. Now that's going to be crucial going into Old World Blues. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 p.m. Probably pushing our luck to stay here a bit longer.
You're back.
Show me what you have for sale.
Because you're a friend of the followers, I can give you a bit of a discount.
Okay.
Take care.
Alright, okay. Right, back to Vegas. Camp down for the night.
Thank you for visiting New Vegas.
We've done Veronica's quest, we've done Rex's quest, we've done Cass's quest, now we've done Raul's quest. we're going to go back to the clinic. And then we are going to go see Colonel Moore at Hoover Dam. Just quickly move the story on a little bit. Vegas.
You're back.
I like to buy an implant.
All right. All right. You're healthy enough to handle another one. Which surgery are you considering?
Could you enhance my agility?
The reflex booster does exactly what it says. Speeds up your reaction times. For 4,000 caps, I can attach the implant to your central nervous node.
Here's the caps.
Have a seat in the auto dock. This will take a few hours.
Okay, that's my agility boosted. So, yeah. I say that's about average, well, except for the 10 in luck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, let's talk to this Colonel Moore.
We won't go quietly.
The Legion can count on that. For the Republic Part 2.
The Legion can count on that.
Is it through here? Turbine room. There she is. Excuse me, Colonel.
Good, you made it. I've been receiving reports about the savior of the NCR for a while now, and wanted to meet you myself. You've proven yourself especially capable, and right now I can use all the capable people I can get. Crocker gets handed the fluff missions that no one else wants to do. When people need something really important done, they come to me. Usually I dispatch 1 or more rangers to see these things through, but I'm a little short-handed at the moment. Think you're up for a real mission?
Yes, Mom.
Since the majority of my men are on assignment dealing with the Legion, I need someone to handle other matters that have arisen. Make no mistake, there's a battle coming, and I intend to make sure there are no loose ends when the time comes. One such loose end is a gang known as the Great Khans. Have you heard of them?
You could say we've had dealings.
Then I don't need to tell you that they can be a pain in the ass. The NCR has a rather sordid history with them, and I'm concerned that we'll find them aiding our enemies when the Legion attack comes. That is, unless we get to them first. I want you to visit them in their canyons to the far west and make sure they're in no shape to join the Legion. They're just another gang of raiders as far as I'm concerned, so deal with them appropriately. Any questions?
What if I find they're committed to joining Caesar?
Then you'll need to make sure none of them are left to do so. Any other questions?
Will I have any other NCR support in this, Mom?
I can't lend you any troops, but I've already sent word to Quartermaster Barden that you're to be given full access to our hardware. You'll have to pay for what you take, however. We can't afford to give away equipment. Did you have any other questions?
What if I can convince them not to join the Legion?
Don't fool yourself. I've dealt with enough of these gangs to know that they can't be trusted. Was there anything else?
No more questions, Mom.
Good. I look forward to hearing of your progress. Dismissed.
Mom?
Hey.
Oh yeah, it's this way. We're not going to see the Great Khans. Instead, what we're going to do, we're going to complete that quest for Caesar. Because the NCR will ask us to kill Mr. House as well. Okay. Eddie.
Okay, boss. I'll just wait here, alone, while my heavily armed companion goes out of earshot. I'm sure nothing will happen.
Fuck's sake, Raul. Okay. He only kept House alive. Okay, here we go. First of all, save. Death to Mr. House. It's still not attacking me. I find that very odd.
Unacceptable behavior has been... Unacceptable behavior.
Open the antechamber.
Searching. Confirmed.
Shit. Now, there are two ways we can do this. We can either just simply kill House, or just sever his connection to the mainframe. He'll still be alive, but he won't be able to control anything. Unseal the chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Robert Edwin House, CEO of Robco Industries and sole proprietor of the Las Vegas Strip, or New Vegas Strip.
Why have you done this? Centuries of preparation. So much good undone.
You don't see the bigger picture. Sod it. By Caesar's command, you will die.
Slavery. The future of mankind. What have you done?
You won't be able to control anything, but I'll let you live.
No! Don't disable Cerebral. I'd rather be killed. Just kill me.
Living death? Fine, I'll just put you out of your misery. I have failed the following quests. Okay, let's bring these all up to solid numbers. 3, 3, 3. Let's bring science up to a nice 95. Okay. Home on the range. Whenever you interact with a campfire, you have the option of sleeping with all the benefits that sleep brings. Long haul. Being over a cupboard no longer prevents you from fast traveling. Have the robotics expert perk because, well, a burden to bear. Actually, no. I have burden to bear. No. No, we won't. We won't have burden to bear. Have robotics expert. The house has gone bust. What's the quest? What's this quest? The house has gone bust. Mr. House is dead. His grand dreams. Tragedy has befallen. 261. The age of 261. What a prick. House. I'll scrap that one. So look, let's raid his penthouse. You know, I'm thinking maybe I could sleep in his penthouse. He no longer needs it. Oh. Call back to Fallout 3.
Right behind you, boss.
Right. Now we make our way back to Caesar.
By order of Caesar,
I agree to disarm.
Your belongings will be...
Yes.
Away. True to Caesar.
We'll go see Caesar in the morning. Lake Mead is green at night.
Lupa met an honorable death in Lee.
Okay. Good news can wait. Bad news will refuse to leave. We'll talk to Caesar in the morning.
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
Back in a moment, Raul.
Okay, boss.
Caesar, I bring news.
I've read Mr. House's obituary. Had a high opinion of himself, didn't he? With Mr. House out of the way, I can focus on smoothing out a few lingering complications elsewhere in the Mojave. First up are the boomers of Nellis Air Force Base. A tribe so reclusive, it lobs artillery shells at anyone who comes near their settlement. I want you to offer them an alliance with my Legion. My terms are simple. Target their guns against the NCR side of the dam when I assault it, and they can keep their freedom. If you find they aren't amenable to this offer, destroy them.
I've already won over the boomers. They'll do as I say.
Is that so? You are good, aren't you? If the boomers will toe the line, I can focus on other preparations. But not without first rewarding your initiative. Now, moving on. I want you to forge an alliance between Caesar's Legion and the White Glove Society. They used to be cannibals. I expect that information can be used to manipulate them. Go to... Oh, God damn it!
Is this the first time you've experienced sudden onset headaches?
Never this bad before. Fuck this. I'm going to lie down. Come back later. Tomorrow.
Smiling troublemaker. Don't tread on the bear.
Oh, Lupa met an honorable death in the arena.
Little escapes the eyes of NCR's Rangers. Well, I'm done working for the Legion. So basically, here's the lowdown on Caesar. Caesar has a brain tumor. He has cancer. And basically, if you kept on helping the Legion, you would notice his symptoms getting... If you got high enough medicine skill, you would notice his symptoms getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Until basically, you've come to the conclusion you have a brain tumor. And you can either operate to save his life, find replacement parts for the auto-dock he has in his tent, or you can
Some of the slaves have been spreading
oh, is that
stories
the bone
about
man
the
again?
burned
Yeah. Or you can murder him so it looks like a complication in the surgery that was unavoidable. I've left them back at the flipping tent, didn't I? Just gonna go back to get Raul and Eddie.
Our way. True to Kaiser.
Our way, true to Caesar.
Right behind you, boss.
So now we can do missions where it's all right to piss off the Legion. Because remember what Marcus said, the Legion are following Caesar, not his ideals. As soon as he's gone, it'll all crumble.
Hi.
But before we go, we're going to speak to Dale.
Howdy again.
Let me see what you have for sale.
Have a look.
Okay, what's he got? Doesn't have any pinion nuts. Rifle beam splitter. He's got nothing. Lucullus.
Awe, are you ready to return to Cottonwood Cove?
Awe, true to Caesar. I'm ready to return.
Very well.
And this seems like a convenient place to stop. Well, we completed Raul's quest in one episode. It's like, once you know what to do and where you're going and who to speak to, all of these companion quests are pretty much straightforward. We also managed to make some headway in the story. House is dead. Now this will be a pivotal part in the story. We've just crossed over the line. There's no going back now. But next episode, we are going to do another DLC, or start another DLC, and this is a DLC that I love. It's one of my favourite ones. So, on our next episode, we're going to travel to the Big Empty. Ooh, and see the wonders and absolute monstrosities of old world science. We are going to start Old World Blues. But that'll come next time. If you're enjoying this Let's Play series so far, by all means, leave a thumbs up and please share this video. If you're no longer a subscriber, you know what to do. Join us again next time for another exciting adventure of Mr. Jammy B'Stard, the luckiest son of a bitch who's ever walked the Mojave wasteland. Oh, almost forgot, you can follow me on Twitter @SandyBFox. Laters.